Welcome all. Today, let's see optical corrections in Greek architecture. As we all know, Greek temples look perfectly straight, balanced, and proportioned. But what we see as perfection is actually the result of optical corrections, not pure geometry. Ancient Greek architects understood something fundamental: the human cone of vision, the natural way our eyes perceive space. This is what we now call optical corrections in Greek architecture. This makes Greek architecture one of the earliest examples of human-centered design in history. So let's understand what a human cone of vision is here. The human eyes does not see buildings as drawings or elevations, but our vision works in a cone-shaped field as we see here. This is our line of sight to the object or the target point that we are seeing, and there is a cone visible within our range. So beyond this, things are not visible. Within this, in the line of sight, whatever falls is more clearer and stronger. That is, the objects at the center appear clearer and stronger. Horizontal edges appear to sag when they extend across our field of view. Vertical elements appear thinner when viewed from below. Edges seen against bright sky appear visually weaker. Greek architects intuitively understood this perceptual behavior long before modern visual science. So let's see and understand optical corrections. Optical corrections are intentional geometric adjustments made in a building to counter visual distortion caused by human vision. They are not decorative tricks or illusions, but they are precise architectural decisions based on how we see form, scale, and proportion. That is, the best known examples for this is the Parthenon built in the 5th century BCE on Acropolis of Athens. Every deviation exists to make the building appear correct to the human eye. If Greek temples were built using perfect straight lines, they would appear visually incorrect and unstable. So architects corrected geometry to correct perception. So as we all know, in the Greek architecture, the temples were placed on top of the city area. Here it is Acropolis, which was on top. So as we see, this is the Parthenon of Athens, and this is the entry to it. So this was the entire complex of the structures where we had Acropolia, you had Erectus and other things. So this is the entrance of this. So once the people enter from here, so the vision was clear from this point. When they stand here, the vision was clear from this point. So how exactly these were done? So when we see, there were major optical corrections in the Greek architecture that had to suit the human perception. So what were those things basically? For this we need to understand very few parts of the Greek temple. There are many, but what we need, let's see those. One is a stylobate. Stylobate is the lowermost part of the base of the bottom where the column rests directly. So there are two parts in the steps of the Greek temple. So first is a stylobate and then there is a stylobate. So here what we are discussing is about our stylobate. Then we have the column or the drum. So this we all understand. And then next what we want to know is a pediment, which is the top triangular portion of this Parthenon here or any Greek temple that we see. The another thing that we would be liking to know is below the pediment from here till the top of the column capital, that's called as an entablature. So let's see what happens here. So this is the plan of the Parthenon. So you see the peripheral columns here. At the base of this columns are the steps. So here is our stylobate that is there. So what is being done? There is a curvature to the stylobate given. This is to correct the human eye vision or perception that we feel. The temple platform gently rises at the center. So here when we see the platform in the center gently rises. This is a very subtle curvature to correct the visual impression of a sagging base and gives the building visual stability. So here after the correction or the optical correction, we see the elevation of this parthenon in the way it should be visible, the way you draw it on your drawing. So you see any photographic image straight when you have taken in the front. But without the optical corrections to the human eye, with this scale, it would appear in this format that you see in the second format. But here, when there is an optical correction similarly done only to the entablature on the top and not at the bottom for the stylobate, we see this kind of difference. So you can see for this, there is a rise of 2 inches 2.64 rise from here, that is 2.61 here. So there is a very slight rise, but that makes still a correction. So that's about the curvature of the stylobate. That is the first optical correction. So secondly, what we see is entasis. This is the most important aspect always discussed when discussed about Parthenon or the Greek architecture optical corrections. So let's see what is the entasis in the columns have to do. Tall vertical elements viewed within the cone of vision appear thinner at the middle. So when we see, they appear very thin in the middle. Greek architects corrected this by introducing entasis. Columns swell gently at the middle and tapered upward. This avoids a concave or a weak appearance and gives columns visual strength. As we see here, the base of the column is x diameter if we take it up. So there is the top of the column is less than x. The diameter is less. So what has been done here is, you can see from A to B is a diameter of the base and C to D is the diameter of the top of the column. So when we project vertical lines from both of the bases, so there is a bigger one which goes and meets the top of the smaller projection that we see. So this profile has been created to have this convex profile to this column, which would be straight, otherwise generally being taken up in a conventional way. But here, due to the optical correction, so we see it totally that there is an outward bulge in the center of this column. So there is also certain factors which have been considered to do, but being done differently in different temples of Greek architecture. So I cannot say that is the standard format of increase, but there is not very huge bulge that you can see. It's very slight bulge. Maybe when you take it up from the base to the top, it is negligible, but it's only done to create a convex profile. So also when we see, there is these peripheral columns that we see, not all of them. There is an inward inclination of the columns, and also the corner spacing of the columns have been adjusted. So when we see the inward inclination, that is, the columns lean towards the center of the building. Why this has been done? Perfectly vertical columns would visually seem to fall outward to the human eye due to the perspective distortion. That's a perspective viewing because of the distance, space and height of the structure. So how this is leaning is, when I take the base of the column and the top of the entablature, there is a shift of around 9 inches from the base to the column capital top. So you can see there is a difference, and this has been proportionally pushed, and it's very negligible so that things appear to be seen. And also the corner spacing has been adjusted to get a clear view. So the columns in the corners are placed together than the others. This corrects the visual thinning effect caused by strong light and open sky at the edges. So you don't see there is a lot of difference when it has been spaced together, because it's been put towards the open sky. You should not feel that the columns are falling outwards or apart. That's a perception that has been corrected. So each correction here is minimal and almost invisible, but together they create visual harmony and balance. So architects designed this for the human cone of vision, as told before. But here the Greek architects showed that the buildings are not just structural systems, they are visual compositions. Now, there was also when the inscriptions were done on the top of the temple, the inscriptions were taken care depending on what place they were inscribed. If they were placed at the bottom of this the structure, so this could be the height of the object. So this is the visual rays that you see. So if they are further away, the height of the text increases. So there's a proportion for each of them based on where exactly the text or the alphabets have been placed onto the building structure. So this is another aspect that was taken into the correction. So we see all of it. Because they were done to form the visual compositions centuries before even the modern architecture, all the visual psychology was understood. Greek architects understood that architecture must respond to human perception and not just drawings and measurements. Greek architecture teaches us an essential lesson. Perfect design is not always geometrically perfect. It has to. Greek architects did. We should understand that they need to be corrected to achieve a visual balance. We should focus on human perception. That is why Greek architecture remains timeless, studied, and relevant even today. So, a good design precision is about how a building is perceived in real space. That's what matters. Thank you. Thanks for watching.